impulse.
Let's move on to the Felix against Carlos match before we wrap things up. I actually had, as I think I also mentioned in the chat, I went pre-tournament with Felix beating Carlos in the semis. Now, I'm saying that hesitantly right now because I don't know, it's partly because I just wasn't convinced about Carlos because I was hung up a little bit on the Paris loss, which I think after like 5 or 6 games of the first match, because the first 5 or 6 games for Carlos in this tournament, who was he playing in the opening match? I was doing a watch along for it, but I'm just, who was he playing? And I was like, my goodness me, Carlos just seems to be a bit short of confidence, especially on the forehand in that first 5 or 6 games. I'm not sure if he went down a break or he went up a break and then lost it. But yeah, it wasn't until maybe...
Yeah, I think in that one he was up 4-1 40 love, right? And then he found himself...
and then
4-1 love 40 on de Minaur's serve, I think.
Yeah. And then...
So close to a 6-1 set, but then he found himself down like 3-5 in the tiebreak.
And he did there was one point, I'm not sure exactly which, but it was around about this point, 4-1, 4-2, something like that. He did a couple of silly things. I don't know what and I don't think he meant to be silly, but he made a couple of unusual choices in a rally that he was way up in and loses the point and then gets broken. Anyway, around this time, I'm thinking, okay, I think I'm kind of right. But then the tiebreak, I think it was, and then the second set against de Minaur, and I was like, wow, this is possibly Rotterdam apart, the best indoor tennis I think I'd ever seen him play over one set. And even Rotterdam, I don't necessarily remember him stringing a whole set together like he did in that second set again. And he's carried it on since then. I know he loses a set to Fritz, but honestly, Fritz should be in the semi-final. So anyway, that's a bit of a sideshow in a way. What about, Carsten, this match with Felix? Do you think Felix has a good chance, some chance? What are your thoughts?
I think that it'll be competitive. I do favor Carlos to come out on top, even on an indoor hard court. Right now, I think Carlos is just a step above him, but it's not going to be like 6-1, 6-1. I think it's going to be pretty tight. And it'll just come down to a few critical moments. And yeah, I think that Carlos this year, especially in the last few months, there have been a lot fewer moments where he's letting people like get into sets. Once he takes control of a set, like he's become a lot better at just like not letting it go. So I think that there could be some moments in both sets where maybe Felix gets a chance to take a step ahead, but if Carlos is able to neutralize him on some points and just get out to a break, I think it's a lot more difficult for me to see how Felix is going to overcome that.
Fergus?
I give Felix about a 5% bigger chance than Fritz did when he won it. I give him like a 25 to 30% chance that he overcomes. I just think that Alcaraz has the gears to go through. Whether he finds it is a completely different question. Whether Felix gets nervous, this is new territory for him. If we get to a point where it's 5-4 on serve, Felix is serving to stay in the first set. Does he pull a Zverev and crack under the pressure? These are all things that we will see. But for me, I just think Carlos has kind of found his rhythm. The only reason I think he played like that in Paris, the conditions were super slow. You mix that with how Norrie strikes the ball, like super awkward, like just kind of caught Carlos completely off guard. You know exactly what you're going to get from Felix. I wouldn't go as far as say one-dimensional, because that's not fair on him, because he's got a very strong indoor game, but you know exactly what you're going to get. And I feel as though Carlos can mix it up and put Felix in positions that he doesn't particularly want to be in, especially on that backhand side. And I'm sure Carlos will be locking down that backhand to backhand battle, and Carlos will come out 85% of the time on top.
Yeah, if it's backhand to backhand, then Felix can forget it. But Vanch, finally, you on this, in terms of the matchup, in terms of some patterns of play that you expect, and ultimately who you think is going to come out on top?
Yeah, I think Alcaraz throughout the week, especially from middle of the second set against Fritz till now, has picked up his level, and he has been, serving better. It does seem like he's in that kind of more lockdown focus mode where he is able to, the forehand damage was excellent against Musetti, and he was able to find the backhand and neutralize a lot of the big first serves coming at him. And it feels like if he's able to, yeah, pin Felix in the backhand corner and then use his court craft, it feels like he should still be favored in this one. But I do think Felix, because of how well Felix is playing this first strike tennis and just how confident he is right now, it's going to be close. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Felix won a set in a tiebreak or something, and maybe Alcaraz is having to fight his way back, or maybe there's maybe a slight dip in level that from Carlos that Felix can capitalize on and maybe push through and win a tiebreak there, or win a 7-5 set. Like he has been giving himself chances. So I would say Carlos, but I'm going to go 3 sets. I do think Felix is capable of taking a set here.
Don't forget the backhand down the line as well. I saw it in the second set against Imanol. I saw it at times against really effectively. And also you're thinking, well, why would you go down the line when that's going into the forehand of Felix? Well, Felix is a bit worried probably a little bit about the backhand. So he's going to be leaving a bit more of a door ajar down the forehand side. And I don't think Carlos is afraid to try and force that door ajar even further. That was a bit of a mouthful. Anyway, listen, guys, big thanks for this evening as it is for us in Europe, and this afternoon stroke nearer lunchtime as it is for various people across North America. But yeah, guys, big thanks for joining me today, or joining me. I mean, I've just done a cameo. But anyway, thanks for coming along today, guys.
No worries.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Pleasure as always. Thanks, guys.
And to everybody else, you know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.